Hello everyone, Xandero Gaming here, and we have our One Piece locals. This is week 2 for our One Piece locals to track our points at OMNICCRDS and Gaming. We have Reiju versus Red Purple Luffy here on the right. The Red Purple Luffy not having a 1-drop, but the Reiju is able to drop a Kaya, which will let him cycle through his deck a little bit. The Red Purple Luffy is going to swing into lead, having to take this life. Such a strong leader, just having those base stats of being so high. Only a 3-life leader, but when you get to be 6k, not really a big deal. But dropping the Zoro here, Reiju gets to go to 4-Don, drop the Kaya again to search. Hopefully he can find a stage here. One of the really important parts of this deck is trying to get that stage out, so that way you can cycle through your pieces and try to get to having all your brothers in the trash, and herself as well. But just going with the little brother, he does have it in the trash to upgrade it, and is going to be able to send this Zoro back to his hand. Not able to swing into the lead here though, because the Luffy is 6k, which is just so strong. Alright, gonna put 2-Don swinging into lead here for 8. He's probably going to have to take this. Oh, wow. Dropping big combos out of hand then. And just going to drop the Zoro again. So, didn't want to take that life. Now they're playing on even fields, though, being 3-3. And he does see the field here. So, that's awesome for him. Should be able to get some cycle in here. And maybe be able to get some more of the Vinsmoke brothers out. Trashing one to look at the top 3. Going to look at what he has in his trash here. Really combo-oriented deck. Definitely takes some skill to play this deck, so that way you know your plays and combos. They're pretty intricate. Trying to figure that out. It does take some time with this deck, but he's played this deck for a while. He knows his matchups. Just going to swing through 6k. Just going to 1k out of that one. The Luffy puts so much pressure on the board because you now have to start thinking about your resources if you want to hit this leader. You can't just go lead into lead like every other matchup. You have to, commit Dawn to the board if you want to touch this Luffy player, which makes it a little bit harder, but that is why he's at 3 life. So able to go up to 7 Dawn here. Counting them out for me. I do like his Dawn coloring he has going on. Just going to swing into the brother here with the Zoro. Able to cycle with that leader, getting the Dawn back. And then, wow, nice. Able to play out the Edward Newgate. Such a strong card here. Definitely putting a lot of pressure on the Reiju player already with this big body. Swinging with the Luffy into the big brother now. So he was just activating that switch to resting effect. I was wrong with the attack, but is able to clear that body regardless. The Reiju player is going to start the turn off with the stage, able to find a piece that he needs here. Should be able to clear off the Zoro if he wants to, but may have to just swing into it so that way he can't recur that value, and that's what he's going to do here, taking out that Zoro. But that is one swing out. Gonna drop the brother to upgrade it back out. Still has some Dawn to play around with here. Those 2 Kayas did help him search earlier, but maybe now having to worry about how much combo he has in his hand. So able to go into the Black Maria. This card is so good in this deck. It is amazing. Being able to ramp you up Dawn if they're able to ramp up, which is great into purple matchups and helps you with being able to get your Dawn back. And then just going straight into the non-job Luffy here. Such a strong card. This is going to be a scary turn coming out of the Luffy player. Able to get the Dawn back here. Showing the stat onto the card. Able to drop the Searcher Nami. Gets a look at the top 5, I believe. And grab, I want to say a Straw Hat card. I think it could be any card. That's why that Nami is such a great searcher for the deck. Grabbing a Busted card. We know that card is going to be played in any deck that can play purple is going to be playing this option card for sure. Just going to swing through with the new gate, swing through with the Luffy. These checks are going to go through because there's just so much DP he's putting on the board here. So going to have a big turn from the Reiju player, getting to start off the turn again with the cycle from the stage. Look at the top three. Maybe not happy about what he saw there. Seeing him kind of sigh on that one, but does find a brother. And going to play it out. Gonna upgrade it. Bounce or sideline the Nami Searcher. But really, he has all these bodies on the board, but just not going to clear these bodies out without committing a lot of Dawn. Maybe he's going to try to swing for game here, but the Luffy player has so much cards in his hand that he's just going to be able to combo out pretty easy here. I think definitely the right call if you know that you can't clear the bodies. Maybe try to pressure for game. He got combo out of his hand, but if he could save this Luffy here, which he is able to, wow, dropping 2 cards. Probably just going to be game here on this next turn then, unless something crazy's in the life. But I don't know what would be able to save him here. I think just swinging the new gate into life, gonna force some cards out of hand here if he doesn't want to take this life. I do think he had to block out of it or combo out of it. There he goes, having to drop the 4 cards. In these situations seems dire, but you do have to give yourself the best chance to stay in the game. So gonna take the Luffy swing here, and then nice, just gonna finish it out with the other Luffy. Red Purple Luffy is super strong. Just being able to play such high body cards, have the 6K, really keeps you from losing momentum to your opponent, because in any matchups that they have to try to play against you, they may want to try to ramp up, but then they're not hitting you. But regardless, in round 2 here, we have a Katakuri going against the same Luffy player on the right. Katakuri, still a very relevant leader in the One Piece trading card game. He's been around a while, super strong, definitely seeing a resurgence from the structure decks. The Red Purple Luffy player getting to search with the Nami. Such a great searcher for this deck, being able to grab so many cards to cultivate your hand. The Katakuri here going to 2 Dawn, playing out his searcher as well. Playing out the Pudding, being able to grab him a Big Mom Pirate card. Hard to see what he grabbed there. Does have 1 Dawn, so just going to pass over. The Luffy gets to go to 3. Yep, turn 2, just swing, because you know you're 6. They're usually going to either have to give you a card to combo out, and he does see the Zoro, so hopefully the Katakuri can find some way to clear the Zoro off the board, so that way he cannot get that effect. We saw how powerful it was in the first game. He has plenty of cards in his hand. Hard to make out what he has. But he can match the Luffy in raw power in this matchup. Just being able to attach the Dons to try to get his effects. Able to look at his life here. Decides to put it back on the bottom of his life. And he's just going to take this. Okay, yeah, going down to 2 life early here. Swings with the Pudding. And maybe a misplay there. Forgetting that the Luffy is 6,000, maybe thinking that's an easy mistake. But anyways, regardless, just going to the next turn here. Putting the Dawn on the Zoro, and then swinging the Nami over the Pudding, and then going to use the Zoro to ramp. He has 5 Dawn to work with. I do like those Dawn color scheme. And maybe just deciding what he wants to play onto the board. Alright. Playing through, passing the turn. Can't tell who that is that he played out there, but that's okay. I'm not too familiar myself with a lot of red cards. But definitely going to have to see a big turn out of the Katakuri player here. The pressure is definitely in the Red Purple Luffy player's board. Having 3 bodies on the board. Going to have to try to enter this Zoro. Using the lead effect. He's going to keep that top card on his life. Just making sure that he was swinging into the Zoro. And he was. He chooses not to combo out of and to save it here. Going to drop the Nami, going to trash a card, to pop the body, and just gonna pass a turn. So able to clean up the board a little bit. Good plays by the Katakuri player there, controlling the board, clearing off some bodies, giving himself a chance to not take a lot of damage on this next turn. And nice, perfect, just on curve, on time, perfect timing for this new gate to come down. Once again, seeing it here, such a strong card for this player. Getting his boost, the 2K up. Going to be able to swing now. Hard choice here now. He does know what's in his life, so he wants to add that card to his hand. Able to go up on Dawn, draw a card, start of the turn. Only at 8 Dawn. Has to find a way to do something about this new gate if it's possible. If not, the red-purple Luffy player could push to end the game next turn. If they run a couple rush cards in the list, which some do, should be pretty easy to do with the Sanji or the Zoro, depending on which ones you play. Having to think about the plays in Katakuri are a little interesting because you want to have that 1 Dawn on your leader. Going to try to use the Dawn effect, but he's just reminding him here if he swings here, he'll have to put a little more Dawn. He lets him take it back there, which is, he's saying it's fine. Just wants to see what's on the life. He's going to keep it there. He does get to choose to do his effect first before you try to combo out, since he is a turn player, and the red purple Luffy does decide to combo out here, and nice. He's able to play the, I forget this character's name, Godatsu or something like that. I'm sorry. But he is able to kill the Nami, and then wow, just dropping another new gate, getting the boost, able to swing in here. So much pressure, so hard to combo out of what this deck can provide in the terms of just raw DP on the board. And swinging again with a new gate, decided not to combo out. He has a ton of cards in his hand, but we have been able to see that he has looked at his life. He knew what the top card was, and he knows what that bottom card is, so hopefully something good there that can try to save him next turn. But he has plenty of cards in his hand. He is up to 10 Dawn. Maybe can see a big mom dropped here, hopefully, and he's going through with the trash in the top security, yes. And then just passing the turn, not able to push through that extra BP that's on the Luffy leader. But was able to see the big mom, which helps keep him in this game, being able to cover and trash that security. The red-purple Luffy player here maybe thinking that he could try to still go for game, though. The Katakuri has been holding a lot of cards in their hand. I think you have to combo out of this hit. He has been taking a lot of these. He does not know what that top card is, but we do know that he has multiple 2Ks in his hand, and he's just going to drop through combo out of this new gate swing. The red purple Luffy player just asking to see now what's in his trash. I don't think there's any big moms in there, so I think if he does not pressure him this game, he knows, hey, I'm going to be in a situation where now the yellow player has made it to the, the coveted 9 and 10 Dawn turns where their top end cards can, actively just recover each turn and provide pressure on clearing the board or your life. So a lot to think about there. I feel like that's probably what he was looking for in the trash, and probably disappointed to see that there's no other big moms in that trash. I don't think so. And he knew what this last life was, and we could assume that it was going to be that because he is going to have to trash a card here for that trigger though and recover back up to 1 life. Do we see the red-purple Luffy player waste a rush card here? He could get him down to 0, so that way he's not able to see it, and that's what's going to happen here. Yeah, we're going to see the rush. The Sanji is going to be able to drop down, get the Dawn back from the leader. Choosing what to do with the last 3 Dawn. Just saying he got the Dawn back with the leader. Swinging with the Sanji. Going to have to take this. Deciding if he wants to activate the trigger, and he is. So he gets to look at his top life. That is such an interesting trigger. Oh, I guess that triggers you get to add it to your hand as well. Okay. Not too familiar. I haven't played against a ton of katakuris, but able to trash the top life with the Big Mom again. Like we said, he was going to be able to put some pressure on him this turn, but the Luffy player has had not to combo out of anything this entire game. So we see the Gum Gum Giant. This card is so powerful. It makes every purple deck so strong, being able to counter out, cycle your hands. MVP card in the trading card game right now for sure. Which definitely saved him, and he's able to drop another one to keep himself alive here, which is insanely strong. Trashing the Bon Clay. Now he's boosted up big enough to get through the Big Mom there with the 8k boost. Trouble now for the Katakuri player. Maybe was thinking that he could have pressured for game, but like I said, the Luffy being able to have that stat difference against your opponent makes it harder for them to finish the game on you or get early pressure. So just super strong, being able to have just more BP than your opponent. He's going to swing through with the new gate here, decides to take this one, maybe hoping that a cool trigger comes in, and that is not the case. So, yep, just going to load up the 10 Don here, swing for a ton of damage. Let's see if he has enough to combo out of this one. I still do think it's game, but what did that have to be, like 5 2Ks? Yeah. And they pound for the GGs there. He's showing that the Gum Gum Giant, oh my god, look at that. He had 3 in his hand. And he had Zoro, just super strong. I do know a lot of players with this deck are deciding to keep the hands if you see the Gum Gum Giants early, because the Luffy lets you get into the late game. But we are going to go into the final round here. We have Shanks versus the red-purple Luffy player, and seeing a perfect start to a game again with the Nami, being able to grab any card they want, and that's why it's so good to get to grab the Gum Gum Giant that we were talking about earlier to set him up for the late game, knowing that a lot of leaders can't pressure him. Shanks is one of the few leaders that can, you know, kind of match your DP a little bit with the way that he can minus the 1,000 a turn when you're trying to swing into him, but, you know, still a lot of pressure that both these decks can put on. Just going to swing through, see if he can get any free cards out of the Shanks player's hand here. This matchup is very interesting. Both decks, I think, running some similar packages with their top ends. But I do think that the red-purple Luffy deck does just have so much more ramp and ways to get to that Dawn faster. Shanks, definitely a really good leader in this format. Gonna attach one Dawn to the lead so that way he can try to swing in. And he's having to play that Luffy tag. So having to add that extra Dawn to your leaders to be able to swing in a Luffy is what makes it so strong. Able to search here with the little Uta. Let's see what he's trying to grab. Nice. I do know that that searcher doesn't always hit. Yep, gotta add that to the hand. There we go. Not able to do anything with that other 2 Dawn on his turn, so really not curving out well there with the 2 Dawn missing, and the red-purple Luffy player able to play another Nami to search here, and nice. So he is set up for the late game already, and he's just asking which one that was probably, and yeah, it is the 9-drop, so he now knows that, you know, this game is definitely going to go to Din Don, and he's going to be in trouble when that comes, but at least he knows that it's in his hand. Gonna use a Zoro here so that way he can ramp up some Dawn. Not sure what they're talking about here. Maybe just explaining some of the cards, and he's just trying to do the math. Okay, so now we see why he left the 2 Dawn up there. Makes sense. Able to pop the Zoro there, but Luffy still has some plays to do, and he gets out the Bon Clay. Such an amazing card. 4 purple decks. Able to get the Dawn back, add it to his leader, and swing through. So much pressure this deck is able to put on their opponents. Really strong. Trying to think about on the Shanks side here, if he wants to take the cards. He is still at 4 life, I believe, here, so maybe taking this life would not be the worst thing possible. He doesn't have a ton of pressure on your board. You know that 2, 4, 6, 7. He's going to 9 Dawn next turn, though, so you do know that the Luffy is in play. Maybe take the life here, see what the card gives you, and maybe you can out the board some. But he is going to drop 2 cards out of his hand to combo out of this swing. Makes sense. We don't know what's in his hand, so hard to tell if that is the case to take the swing there. But going to have to clean up this board here some. Definitely wants to find a way to kill this Bon Clay for sure, because that card is going to be a problem in the next turn if it stays here. Swings into life, and the Luffy player takes it here. He has played a couple cards. We know he's searched. Deciding, there we go, nice. Plays the Marco, able to out the Bon Clay, but having to add the top card of his life to his hand. And now with the Sanji, gets to swing in and gonna combo out of that one. Doesn't want to go down to 1 life, knowing that the Shanks decks has rush targets that it can play next turn that are super strong. That being, you know, the dragons or the Shanks, other cards that he can run. But going to 10 Dawn now on the Luffy player's turn. Everything in the deck at his disposal. Looks like he's going with the 7 drop. Gets to put the Dawn back, get the DP boost. Just talking through. Gonna add... Oh, nice. Adding the 1 Dawn with the Nami here to try to take out that Sanji. Good play here. Gonna use a leader effect, but now the other Nami can come through. This is a really heads-up play by the red-purple Luffy player here to put pressure on this Sanji. The Shanks player not wanting to lose that card without getting a bigger swing in. Probably a good call here, because now that he's put so many resources, he has to decide if he wants to put his leader swing into this Sanji, which is probably what the Shanks player is trying to get out of him, which is a good call because that is a big resource and a lot of DP getting swung through on the board. Yeah, oh, going into life, so just not worried about the Sanji anymore. He got the 2 cards out of the hand of the Shanks player that he wanted. Gets to restand everything. The Sanji is still on board. Finally gets to go to 8 Dawn. Not at 10 though, because he's not playing purple, so he doesn't get to ramp. Purple is just so crazy in the One Piece card game right now. Purple and black just do crazy things. Red is in a good spot too with a lot of the cards they got, but the ramp in purple seems so consistent, able to get you to the late game, which is what One Piece is all about, getting to these 10 Dawn turns. That's really where the majority of the game, all the big plays take place. Just swinging Uta to take out one of these Namis, not controlling those earlier, came back to bite him and had to drop some cards, trying to keep his Sanji alive. He's at 8 Dawn here. If he has a Rayleigh or a Dragon, could clear off some of these bodies. At least the Nami without having to waste anything. Maybe trying to think it out. This is the finals here, so both players going to take their time, think about the plays they need to do in this matchup. Both of these players really good, always at our locals every week. We appreciate everyone that comes out to Omni Cards, Collectibles, and Gaming in Moultrie, Georgia. I'll link our Facebook page in the description for you to check us out, please. Alright, so he's counting out his Dawn. He knows he has 8. Probably wishing that he was at 10, that's for sure. Would make this play a little bit easier. Probably, I would have to imagine he's thinking how much he needs to commit to clearing the board here. And I do think that you have to clear the board because you do know that the Luffy also runs rush targets in their deck too. So he could potentially, you know, provide lethal to you next turn if you don't go in on him here. Able to combo out of the swing from the leader swing, so trying to get some cards out of the Luffy player's hand here, but now that he's comboed out of that one, he can take this life if he wants to. He knows that he's safe, he doesn't have to worry about dying this turn, so yep, he's going to take it to the hand. Good call. Going to drop 4 to get down his, I do believe that's a Lucky Roo blocker. Yeah, that one's the blocker. So hopefully he's betting a lot here that the red-purple Luffy player doesn't have some way to answer this Lucky Roo. And just going to drop the Luffy that we knew he's had since close to the beginning of the game. Such a powerful card. Getting the Dawn back. Leader effect as well. Going to be able to provide some pressure on the Shanks player here. Just swinging in, getting the buff. So he's got a lot of big swings coming at him this turn. A big turn here because now he has to decide if he wants to take this life or combo out. He does take the life, knowing that 2 more big swings are coming his way this turn. He has 1 more life. He does still have the blocker. Lucky that the blocker's still there. So yeah, probably just have to block there so that way he got to clear the Nami too. So you have to block there. Has to take this last hit to life, but now threatening, 2, 4, we see 6 cards in hand. Both players in a very dangerous spot here. Shanks will be going to 10 down finally this turn. We feel like it took him forever to get there since he doesn't get to ramp, but he can pressure the Luffy now. The Luffy is at 7k, I believe, which is really strong for this turn. So any swings that normally would get through are going to cost you 2 more Dawn to do, which is, a really powerful part about this leader just being able to stay buffed up. Doesn't have the best game state, wasn't able to get into any 8 drops before this 10 drop turn, so definitely not perfect curving through. And we are going to see the dragon. A good call here, maybe trying to clear the board, but I think without a blocker here, he may just lose next turn if he isn't able to kill him here. We do know that the red purple Luffy player has 2 of the Gum Gum Giants because he has the 1 Dawn up, so probably just going to drop that here on this one. And nope, just combos out with the Sanji. And I think from that swing here, yeah, the Shanks player is probably knowing now, well, he's able to combo out a 1. Now he's probably just got me. But we'll see. Maybe not. Yep, he's got another Sanji. Just going to swing through, take this card to life. Not able to get through these bodies. And that's just the name of the game when you're going against red purple Luffy. He's almost always going to have more BP than you. So you're going to have to waste more resources into him to try and get these swings in. Yeah, they're fisting it up there. A great game between both of these players. Good job on the red purple Luffy player getting the 3 wins today. Only 3 rounds from locals this week, but it was a lot of fun. We appreciate everybody coming out to hang out with us. Please leave the video a like and subscribe. I am going to have their deck list for you here at the end of the video. For the top 3, I'm pretty sure, yes, it was the Katakuri who brought up 3rd place. This is their list here. These lists don't really vary too much other than like which cards people want to play at their top end. It is nice to see the new Robin included. I think it helps the deck out a lot. And then in 2nd place here, we have the Shanks player. Only running 1 of the Shankses, but 4 of the 10 drop, which is definitely the most powerful card in the deck. And the Rayleighs. Really good list here. And then now we see the red purple Luffy list. Super strong, running 3 of those Luffys and 2 of the 10 drop, which is interesting. Thanks again for hanging out with me, y'all. I'll be making more videos for y'all. I appreciate it. Peace.